Well, welcome one, welcome all to V3 Fights.
This is exciting. The house is packed.
Well, here we go.
Knockout!
Pretty electric, man. People are on their feet.
This is your main event.
Wow.
Let me hear you make some noise.
The fight.
Here we go.
Nice takedown. Oh, wow.
Now he's in a full mount, raining down elbows. Let's see if they touch gloves. Look at that. That's a nice takedown.
Trying to finish here. Right over.
Ladies and gentlemen, declaring your winner. It's staying undefeated.
Everyone here just got to witness V3 history.
I'm booking a private jet to Tuscany. You thought of me? Huh? I really need to get there fast. Who the fuck you think you're talking to? Shut up, little boy. I'm talking to Fredo. Un poco di rispetto. Fredo. Sorry, Al. There was someone disturbing us. So I was telling you about Airwolf Jet Services. They're friends of ours. The best. Amazing service. You should check them out now. www.airwolfjetservices.com.
Are you looking for a good fight? Check out the Fight pay-per-view schedule. Watch on the biggest screen in the house. What's the fight tonight? MMA, boxing, pro wrestling, live on pay-per-view. Just tap play and pick a screen to watch on. Playback shifts instantly to the screen of your choice. No hardware, no hassle. Download the Fight app and start watching today.
A sport that bridges generations. Live everywhere. Fight gives you instant access to live pay-per-view and free combat sports programs. Check out our combat sports schedule at fight.tv. Fight. Start watching.
This is Chris Allen of the MMA Fight Bible and John Boy McElroy of Martial Arts Chat Podcast with your weekly MMA Power Hour news update. In the MMA news this week, Justin Gaethje defeated Edson Barbosa in the main event of Saturday night's UFC Philadelphia, but the Brazilian team isn't happy that an eye poke might have affected the outcome. Barbosa was poked in the right eye 42 seconds into the main event bout, almost 2 minutes before Gaethje dropped and finished the Brazilian fighter with a heavy right hand. On his Instagram page, Barbosa's manager Alex Davis posted a picture of the eye poke, adding, "No excuses, but this dictated the fight." Barbosa's longtime coach Anderson Franca also wrote about it on social media, adding a photo of Barbosa's eye post-fight. And speaking of dodgy eyes and post-fight, the Underground King Eddie Alvarez, who was eliminated from ONE's Lightweight Grand Prix, released a statement on his social media on Tuesday, admitting to being disappointed and confused in my inability to not pull the trigger and my hesitancy on the recent fight nights. He also revealed that his opponent split both his eyelids in half. Ouch, nasty one. Bellator 222, all the twos, I sound like a bingo caller. It's officially added 2 more fights, a welterweight clash between Paul Daly and Eric Silva, along with a featherweight fight between James Gallagher and Jeremiah Labiano. They were announced as part of Bellator's tour. Bellator London is taking place on June the 22nd. You'll also see in the main event Gegard Mousasi defending his middleweight crown against Rafael Lovato Jr. Arnon Chalmers is set to make an appearance on that card as well. And news from my neck of the woods, my man Scottish Hit Squad zone Chris the Bad Guy Bungard will be on that card as well. London is really shaping up to be a cracker of a fight night, as they say.
In other news, in the ever-growing Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship organisation, there has been an altercation between 2 of the fighters that are on the roster, and that is ex-UFC fighter Artem Lobov and former boxing champion Paulie Malignaggi. Artem Lobov is actually fighting later on this week against former UFC fighter Jason Knight in the main event, which to Paulie's dismay, as he really wanted to take on the Irish Russian, as he likes to call himself. The reason for him wanting to take on Lobov is, I feel, to get to Conor McGregor, as him and Paulie have had a bit of, let's say, beef in the past about when Conor McGregor was training for Floyd Mayweather. Paulie came in to help with the sparring session, which Conor McGregor did apparently knock him down more than once, which he quite happily posted all over social media. And Paulie was not happy about this, as we all know, because he felt that he actually won the sparring, as the whole video would have shown, which Conor McGregor, I guess, forgot to show. So while Artem was completing his part of his media press, which he was doing for the show, he came across Paulie Malignaggi and the two exchanged words. As they got closer and closer, Paulie actually slapped Artem in the face, resulting in the two potentially going for each other, needing their coaches to hold them back from an instant scrap. Artem, as you can imagine, is definitely not happy about this, feeling like he has been, let's say, disrespected by Paulie, as he feels like he cheap-shotted him and made him look like a bit of a fool in front of the world. I'm sure we may see these two fight each other at some point in the organisation, as I'm sure a lot of fans want to see, but in the meantime, both fighters have their own upcoming fights, and we'll have to wait and see what the outcome of those will be. As always, yet again, Conor McGregor is making headlines in the news this past week, but the real question is, where do we start? So I'm going to take it back to the first headline we had earlier this week, and that is Dana, and after he's retired, as we all saw, Dana White has actually come out and stated that he has not actually retired. He doesn't feel he's actually retired, and he'll be meeting with him later on this week, inverted commas, to make him happy. So, as everyone believed, McGregor's just retiring, maybe just to get what he wants, maybe to get the fight, not the co-main event that he was offered, maybe to get the shares, which we know he didn't get. But I myself am a fan of McGregor, and I am hoping he does come back to the cage soon, because I'd love to see him fight. And Dana White has also stated he does have 2 dream fights that he really wants to see in the UFC. Both do include the Irishman Conor McGregor. He says, I'd love to see Conor versus Khabib 2 again, which was maybe a surprise to some fans, seeing how Khabib was quite dominant in the last fight. And also, the fight we'd all like to see is Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather in the cage, but under unified MMA rules. Let's not start counting our chickens. That fight's never going to happen. Mayweather's definitely not interested in that, and if that fight was going to happen, it would have well and truly happened by now. So moving on to the next headline we have from McGregor. He obviously saw that his friend Artem Lobov in the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship organization, he had a scuffle with Paulie Malignaggi, which McGregor, as we know, has had problems with back in the past. So after he saw this altercation between Malignaggi and his teammate, McGregor thought it'd be great to post one of the pictures from back of their sparring days when training for Floyd Mayweather, showing that Paulo Malignaggi was actually on the floor after being knocked down by McGregor, and McGregor was quite happily posting that on every social network he could find. And most recently, Conor may have gone that step too far, posting an image of Khabib with his wife. I'm not going to say what he said, but I'm sure you've all seen it, and it's very disrespectful from Conor McGregor against his religion and his wife. And I hope that McGregor did remove the post very quickly, but still the internet doesn't forget, and unfortunately this is another thing that will be sticking with McGregor going forward. Tyron Woodley has recently stated that to get to where he needs to get back to where he was reigning so supreme for the last few years, he needs to do exactly, as he quoted, "I need to do what GSP did." He continued on to say, "Now I've got to do similar to what George St. Pierre did when he lost to Matt Hughes and had to come back and avenge that, and lost to Matt Serra and also had to come back and avenge that as well." He also said, "I thought that everything was on the up and up now. I don't have to struggle this much with the promotion, don't have to struggle this much with the game plan, had it pretty much down. Now that I got comfortable, but I thought my days of struggling was over." So now, to get back to this status, he's going to look to do exactly what he did to Robbie Lawler back in 2016, this June, where he faces him for a second time. This has been a long-awaited rematch since when Robbie Lawler faced Tyron Woodley back in 2016. It was over very quickly with Tyron Woodley scoring a knockout in the very first round. So Tyron will be looking to do exactly the same thing again as he did back then, cementing his place back in a title shot contention. Woodley has defeated some of the best fighters in the UFC's had to offer him, and he really feels in his last fight, Kamaru Usman, he wasn't fighting to his full potential and he wasn't really himself, and that will never happen again, and he's back on the rise, and we look forward to seeing this happen.
The refs have called it. This is Chris Allen and John McElroy with your weekly MMA Power Hour news update. Coming up next is another knockout episode of the MMA Power Hour with Colin and Adam. Until next time, we're tapping out.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Dana Bloom from the Asian MMA Podcast here on the MMA Power Hour with a news update about Asian MMA. And of course, given where we are in the calendar year, the only thing really to talk about was One Championship, A New Era, their first ever event held in Tokyo, Japan. Now, what I would like to do is kind of run through some of the cards, some of the fights on the card, and really sort of take a look at where that position won and how it turned out for one. Overall, though, I've got to say, an amazing card. One of the best cards in Asian MMA recent history that I can remember in the post-Pride era for sure. Now, I want to look first at the undercard, and one of the fights that was really exciting that I was looking forward to was, of course, Gary Tonin versus Anthony Angleton. And everyone had Gary going in as the favorite, but you couldn't really sleep on Anthony. He's so game, and he's so in the space of making the most of an opportunity. He's done that time and time again this year alone. So I was excited for that fight, and I was blown away by how fast Gary made the finish of that fight. He made short work of Anthony, and had a decisive TKO finish. And it's a credit to Gary simply because Anthony is so tough and so gritty and really a skilled guy. Now, moving up to the main card, I think the major upset of the night was Eddie Alvarez dropping to Timothy Natsuyukin. Now, Timothy's been game. I mean, everyone who knows Asian MMA, who's followed it, knows that he was going to be a tough opponent. But even I picked Eddie to win that fight, and he didn't even look like himself. He just got handled, decisively. It felt like 0 point in that fight where he was in control or where he was making progress, Timothy just overwhelmed him. And, the first round TKO loss, I mean, it was decisive and a great finish for Timothy. And, I'm excited to see him move forward in the lightweight tournament. Now, the next fight up on the card was Demetrius Johnson's debut in the promotion. And I think, given that Demetrius Johnson is, I think in most people's mind, the GOAT, the pound-for-pound GOAT, as far as, historically and current fighters, active fighters, he's one of the greatest. Yes, he lost his title to Henry Cejudo in the UFC, but, his reign before that, and the Henry Cejudo fight was still a great fight. It wasn't like it was a one-sided loss for Demetrius. It was an amazing fight, but he sees the opportunity to come over to ONE and to fight in Asia. And I've got to say that for me, I was surprised by how much trouble Yuya gave him in the fight, because I thought this one was really going to be kind of on, a Gary Toonan level, where it's just a one-sided, beatdown, and Yuya really gave Demetrius a hard time. They went into the second round. Demetrius got the finish. It was a fantastic submission, but hats off to Yuya for just putting up a great fight and actually giving a challenge to Demetrius, something that a lot of the top fighters in the UFC couldn't do over the years. His first fight in ONE Championship against Yuya, someone who I didn't even think really should be in that conversation as to who his first fight should be, put out a great show. So it'll be interesting to see how Demetrius progresses in the flyweight tournament. Now, the next fight up was an interesting one, and it's one I want to talk about a bit because it was Bibiano Fernandes versus Kevin Bellington. Obviously, Bibiano, the former champ, Kevin, the current champ, and it was a title fight. And it really ended in a controversial fashion, and this is one of the things that kind of takes away from ONE as an organization, and I'll get into some of the details, but I will say that Bibiano was winning the fight on my scorecards going into the before the stoppage. Now, it was a second round DQ. Kevin Bellington hit Bibiano in the back of the head with some elbows. One or two of them landed flush in the back of the head. A lot of them landed on the side of the head, completely legal blows. And there seemed to be some confusion. So, the ref stopped it. Good call to give Bibiano the chance to recover. Puts Kevin in the neutral corner, goes over, checks on Bibiano, and we see people start to pop into the cage, talk to the ref. The ref goes over, issues a yellow card to Kevin. I thought that was maybe premature, but you can make a case for it. Now, he goes back over. It's clear that Bibiano can't continue. And then you see someone in the cage talking to the referee. And at that point, the referee walks over to Kevin, and you hear Oliver, the referee, say, "Oh, I'm sorry about this." They caught that on the audio in the cage, and he pulls out a red card, DQs him because Bibiano can't continue. And, one of the things that I think really takes away from what ONE does is the person who you see in the cage is the guy who comes in with a suit. He's got light brown shoes on. His name's actually Rick Audie. He's an employee of ONE Championship. And he actually, I feel like he came into the cage and probably made the call for Oliver to go ahead and make the DQ, for the referee to make the DQ, which isn't something you should be doing. I mean, this is one of, as much as I hate commissions and the way that they mess with the sport, and I probably will do an episode on the Asian MMA podcast about the benefit of commissions in the future, and I'll talk about it here on the MMA Power Hour as well, that, the commissions do add this legitimacy to the sport, that there should be, when it's done right, a fairness of regulation and everything being done in a fair and concise way. And when you have employees like this that can enter into the cage and inject themselves in the conversation, and we've seen this in the past with the way that ONE overturns fights, and there's very little transparency on it, that I think this muddies the sport a bit. And it was obvious that Bibiano didn't want to win the title like this, Yeah, he was visibly upset with the call to give him the title to make it a DQ, but at the same time he couldn't continue. He couldn't walk out on his own. Yeah, I think this is one of the sort of dark spots with Asian MMA, but at the same time, it's not like they're making a choice not to have a commission. There are no commissions for them to work with, so they're doing the best they can. I don't have the perfect answer to the problem, but I think what we see with them just isn't the actual solution that we should have in place if we want Asian MMA to really be, everything that it has the potential to be. But that being said, obviously Bibiano won via DQ, second round. Not how I wanted to see it go down. Not what I think is the right choice for that fight, but it is what it is. Obviously, we're not going to be able to change that. Next up, Angla Insong took on Ken Hasawaga in a rematch, and it was just a devastating second round knockout. Fantastic fight for Angla. And anyone who's ever seen Chatri talk or seen video of Chatri giving one of his inspirational speeches, he always retells the story of the time Angla won a championship in Myanmar. And, I always, whenever I see Angla come out, I always hear in my head Chatri chanting Angla, Angla when he tells this story. But it's true. He is legitimately a rock star in Myanmar, especially amongst the combat sports community. But what a great showing. Now, at the end of this, they had this very kind of corny, staged call out in a very one championship way, where it was super respectful, no trash talk, where Brandon Vera comes out, he's the heavyweight champ, and he's been fairly inactive only because there's not a ton of heavyweights in one. But he came out and basically asked Angla, who's the middleweight and light heavyweight champion, if they could fight for the light heavyweight strap. And in very one fashion, Angla went off and said how much he likes and respects Brandon, and of course they can fight. Chatri came on, said let's get it on. So hopefully we'll see that in Japan in October. It would be great to see that. I actually think that's one of the better fights at a bigger weight class that one can actually put on. They're both incredibly skilled fighters, both champions. A belt will be on the line, and it's just a compelling fight stylistically. Both talented strikers, and I think Brandon probably has the edge on the ground, but he's got a size advantage standing, but Angla's beaten heavyweight, so it's a good fight. Now, next up, co-main event was champ versus champ in the women's division. We had Zhang Jinnan versus Angela Lee, the unstoppable Angela Lee, who is now very much stoppable after an amazing fight, though. I mean, hats off to both the ladies who put on an absolute battle. I mean, it was a fantastic fight. Finish in the fifth round as Young stopped Angela with body shots for the TKO, only after surviving an excruciating armbar in the fourth. Now, up until the fourth round, you really could have given it to either of them. It was really that back and forth, and I had Angela ahead on my cards, but given the way that one scores things, who knows? But I had Angela ahead, and I thought with that armbar, I thought for sure she was about to get finished, become a two-division champ, and Zhang stuck it out and didn't tap. She fought through the armbar. She was giving the ref a thumbs up, letting him know she was okay, even though she was grimacing. Comes out in the fifth round and absolutely destroys Angela with body shots. Amazing fight. So much grit, so much determination from both of them. And when they played a little video before that fight talking about Angela's kind of bumpy road she's had. She did have, a serious car accident a few years back, and then she had the back injury. So it's been a long road back for her. She's had a lot of trials and tribulations, but what an amazing fight. A lot of what happened in the fifth round probably had a lot to do with her being gassed out, but she also legitimately was hurt. I mean, you could tell the first body shot that landed turned her away and, absolutely destroyed her. And hats off to both ladies. Amazing fight. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing both of them again. I've not been a huge Angela Lee fan in the past, but after a fight like that, I'm sure I'm not the only one who's definitely a huge fan at this point. And the main event of the night was Shin Aoki versus Edward Foliang. And, you know, Edward's been one of these guys. He's been a great media star and a great champion for one championship. And with his lightweight strap on the line, was facing Shin Aoki, who's been an absolute monster the past couple of years, just, you know, destroying everyone, getting tons of finishes, and in a really, really definitive way. So I was excited for this fight, and, you know, it comes out and Shin Aoki essentially puts him to sleep with an arm triangle in the first round. It was amazing. It reminded me a lot of the fight I watched in Bangkok with Shin Aoki versus Ev Ting, where it was essentially the same outcome. And, you know, Shin Aoki was just coming out smothering guys, and I'll be really just excited to see him fight anyone at this point, because if he keeps putting on this type of clinic and, you know, showing this type of technique and this type of aggression, I think you can't understate the aggression that Shin Aoki brings to the actual fight, because it's so overwhelming. And I think someone like Edward Foliang, who's incredibly versatile fighter, very skilled fighter, can't even deal with that pressure. It speaks worlds to Shin Aoki. So overall, amazing card. The one blemish with the Bibiano and Bellington fight. Now, I'd like to see that rematch. I don't know what's going to happen. I definitely disagree with the DQ. It clearly was not an intentional shot, and I don't know. Unfortunately, we don't get transparency on these things with one, so we don't really get to see, you know, what transpired. But for the most part, great card, amazing show. That fight between Angela Lee and Zhang was out of this world, and I saw that they have that up on their YouTube channel now, so if you haven't seen that, you can go check that out. Fantastic fight. Until next time, I'm Dana Bluen.
Can you feel the power? Welcome to this part of the MMA Power Hour. A huge thank you to our correspondents in the United Kingdom as well as in Asia. Mr. John McElroy from Scotland, thank you so much, John. Mr. Chris Allen in England, thank you so much. And Mr. Dana Bluen, Chris being in England, Dana in Thailand, a welcome addition, and absolutely much valued, tremendously talented correspondent, all three of you. Thank you so much. Hope you guys enjoyed the added touch we have, bringing people in to make this show even more fun and entertaining for you. So before we continue, I want to say thank you all for being here. I have had the least amount of sleep I've ever had before a show, but I'm still going to try to kill it here for you and be fun and entertaining. But let me quickly bring on my co-host, co-producer, and good friend, Congressman Adam Rorta. Roar yourself, roar.
As always, roars
right in here. The congressman is doing well, and you know, we're looking for a great show, aren't we, Doc?
Oh, absolutely excited for it. We want to go ahead and give a huge shout out to everybody tuning in. Make sure to give us a like, comment, and share. We could definitely use all the shares in the world. We're always grateful in advance, and while you're doing it, we see it goes across the screen, so it means the world to us. Want to say that. Also, go to combatpress.com, where every fight has a story. Combat Press is the #1 go-to resource for all things combat sports related. I'm over there checking it out all the time to get the rankings, the news, and it's no fluff, no BS. I just love it. I say go on over there, get your information. Also, head on over to crosstrainmmafighter.com to pick up some awesome swag. They got some awesome t-shirts there, and I own, I don't know, about 8 shirts right now. I think 2 of them ended up in somebody else's car, so they've got them now too. But so also DigiSouth, if you need social media marketing, go to digisouth.co. If you have any social marketing needs, I can help you out with that. contact me and I can get you in touch with everybody over there at DigiSouth. But yeah, they're the best.
Yep, absolutely. Well, thank you, Dr. Adam Morta. We want to get our first guest rocking as soon as possible. I know you can make that happen, but in the meantime, I'm going to let you all know we have a great show here, a lot of fun, a couple of great guests, some amazing footage from Bellator. We were cage side for Bellator 219 in Temecula, a place I like to refer to as Tarantula because it sounds like tarantula. It's always what I thought of. I haven't seen any tarantulas there yet, but I've heard they can get so big they can run your car off the road. Is that true, Dr. Adam Morta?
I've heard that.
Yeah, I think it's possible. Everyone thought that was only in a couple of different countries other than USA, but Temecula has tarantulas, ladies and gentlemen. I believe so. Don't be afraid, though. There's no epidemic yet, I hope. Anyway, so we're working on it. Here we go. And let me see. Did we just try her? And then
yeah. Just tried her. Said she wasn't online. Tell her to give us a call. It might be a technical glitch here because it says she's actually online.
Okay. We just tried to Skype you and there was an error message. Could you actually Skype call us? That would be great. Question mark.
It does happen.
Yep, it will happen here. I know you'll.
Well, I know actually, and we may even have to have our next. Yeah, we'll have to probably have our next guest do it as well. Hopefully not. I might be able to get that figured out, but.
Doc, you are the master at figuring things out.
I can only do so much because the camera we're using for you is the phone.
This is, yes, the spectacular phone here. This is why I look so good because were it not for a phone, you'd be amazed.
I'm also able to see through you right now a little bit.
Yeah, am I that transparent, Dr. Adam Morta?
Yeah, I'm wondering what's going on.
I hear you. Something's wrong. Well, hopefully I'm transparent, though, personally. I like to be that way. Full disclosure, like to say, and complete transparency. Let me see if she's
there she is. There she is.
All right, let's make it happen. All righty. Can you hear me, Bernice?
I can hear you.
Excellent. Fantastic. All we need you to do is hit that video button and we'll be able to see you, as will our audience. And while you're doing that, let me give you a proper introduction. Actually, I think you've done it. We see, although I think we're seeing your wall. There we are. We're seeing you right there. Excellent. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am so happy to have this first guest on the show. She is an amazing fighter, multiple-time Muay Thai world champion, now undefeated in her MMA career. Amazing potential. Right now, she's fighting for the Fusion Fighting Championship in the United Kingdom, soon to be fighting for one of the big shows out there, I believe, as do many. And we're so happy to welcome the very first female British fighter on our show. The honor goes to Bernice Aldis. Welcome to the show, Bernice.
Hi, thanks for having me.
My pleasure. It's great to have you. I've heard so much great things about you, and you know, I'm very impressed with what I've seen. Let's get to know you a little bit. You're fighting over there at Fusion, and you've had 2 or 3 MMA fights so far.
So I've had 3 pro MMA fights.
Excellent. All of them have gone quite well, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they've done all by finishes, yeah.
Fantastic. So 3-0, all stoppages, as they say here, right? And you had a quite prolific Muay Thai career. I think you were, what, 8-time world champion, or am I wrong?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, 8 times world champion. Yeah.
And you had a fantastic record of, I think, 47-4 or something close to that, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, 47. And yeah, 4 losses.
Fantastic. So you have been in the combat sport world for quite a long time. When I heard, I was actually quite a bit surprised of how young you got in to the combat sports, with Muay Thai being the first sport. But let us know how old you were when you first started competing in Muay Thai and how that came about.
So I first started when I was 13, and I basically started, I was looking around for a gym. I wanted to start boxing, and I looked around at a few gyms, went to one, and they didn't accept girls. At the time, it wasn't really a thing for girls doing boxing and stuff like that.
No girls allowed.
Anyway, yeah, I looked around, and I got a newspaper article of a guy just won a world title in Thai boxing, and the gym was actually really close to my house. So I ended up going down, having a look, and I just fell in love with it from there. started from the age of 13.
Fantastic. What made you, as a 13-year-old girl, consider fighting? Had there been anyone in your family that was involved in combat sports, or if not, what caught your fancy, as they say, with the idea of fighting?
I was always a bit of a tomboy. I was always like playing football, climbing trees, and I just wanted to try something different. There was no real reason. I didn't actually start boxing or Thai boxing to actually fight, or I never thought I was going to make a career out of it. And obviously there's no one in my family that did do it. But when I started, I fell in love with it straight away, and then that was it. I wanted to compete. As soon as I had my first fight, that was it. I was like, I will become world champion one day.
I love that. How did your family respond to that thought when you were a teenager? And then how did they respond when you were actually an adult, and was it different?
I think my mum was always very, very protective. She never really liked me fighting. She always got really, really nervous. And my dad, on the other hand, he was always there supporting. He done most of my corners, so he was always in my corner for when I fought Thai boxing. When you're younger, you don't have that fear factor. Nothing really phases you. Obviously, as you get older, you start to realise, like the dangers of the sport and injuries you can get throughout. Obviously, fighting.
Absolutely. When you mentioned your father being in your corner, was that for just some of the early fights, or was he in your corner while you were a professional Muay Thai fighter for a good amount of those fights?
Yeah. He was there literally throughout. He was like my towel man, so he'd always make sure he had the towel, and he would keep me cool in between rounds. He never really did much.
Right.
He always kept quiet, but
right.
That was a little job.
I like that. Now, was that always easy and comfortable, or was that at some points difficult for either you or your father?
Not for me. No, not for me. I don't know about my dad, of like whether he got nervous or a little bit anxious and stuff. But he's very, very laid back, so he just lets the coaches just get on with their job, and he will just sit back and do what he's got to do. As in, when I'm fighting, I like to make sure that I'm really cool.
Yeah,
I don't like feeling too hot, so he will always make sure he's got the towel.
Makes sense.
That's his little job that he does.
Makes sense. A lot of people don't know a lot of athletes are hot. I'm not a professional athlete, but I've always been a martial artist and worked out. So I bet you have one of those cool beds. I know I do, that cools you down. Am I right or no?
What do you mean by cool bed?
Well, they have the mattress that is kind of cooling. I know in the United States here, maybe it hasn't come to England yet, but they've got it where it's got like air ventilation and it's a bit cooler. So I don't know. It may not have made it to England yet, but you've got to look out for that. Or do you not sleep hot? I would imagine you probably sleep hot as well, right?
No, do you know what? I hate being hot.
Right.
But yeah, so I just normally have like my cover chucked off to the side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why didn't you bed?
Nice.
I need one.
I hear you. I love to make that happen. Perhaps down the road, that can be a gift or something that you would get for winning fights here. And speaking of which, I know you have your eyes on some big organizations. Nothing set, but I know you'd love to start jumping in and competing in the United States. But before I ask you about that, were there any female fighters that you looked up to, or that you kind of modeled yourself after at all, whether it was in Muay Thai or MMA or boxing even?
Obviously, growing up, I had quite a few idols, definitely. Actually, two of them are in the UFC. One of them being Jermaine Durandamy.
Mm-hmm.
She was one of my, always looked up to her. she managed to come over and fight on one of our shows in the UK.
Nice. Very good. Multiple-time world Thai champion as well, I know.
Yeah, so strong. Knocked a lot of her people out.
Yep.
I think she went to like 42-0.
Yes.
All by knockout.
The Iron Lady, I think she was called.
Sorry, the Iron Lady. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And who was the other one?
So her and Joanna.
Yes.
Djokovic.
Yes, Joanna Jędrzejczyk. You're a big fan of hers. Absolutely great fighter. And so the weight divisions, you mentioned one woman who was a strawweight who fought once at flyweight, and then another woman who has fought at bantamweight and featherweight. I believe you yourself are focused primarily on the flyweight division, 125 pounds in MMA, and that's where you spent most of your career at Muay Thai as well, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Excellent. So you've got your striking down. So I would imagine a big part of your mission for the last couple of years has been grappling, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and the like. How's that going? Do you feel comfortable with those things yet? And what are you feeling better about, wrestling or jiu-jitsu or both equal?
Yeah, obviously I've got the stand-up background there, so yeah, obviously a lot of work has been jiu-jitsu. So I've done a lot of, quite a few jiu-jitsu competitions. We do here. Like I've done gi and no gi.
Beautiful.
They went well. Yeah, I've done really good. Obviously, having that stand-up side, got quite a good base and stuff, so managed to always get the takedown from like the clinch. Every time I've done my competition, I've managed to get gold, so that was good.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, obviously I have still so much to learn. Obviously my stand-up was like 13, 14 plus years doing stand-up. So obviously this is just the start of the jiu-jitsu side for me. So I've got a long way to go. But gradually, slowly, definitely getting better.
Absolutely. I'm glad to hear that. I'm sure you are. I would imagine that having all those Muay Thai fights does give you an advantage and some peace of mind going into MMA, even though you're quite new at MMA, having won 3 fights by stoppage, but still early in your career. But I think that having all that competition is something that helps you probably feel calm, even when it's in an MMA cage. Am I right on that?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, that, like you said, that experience, being in front of people, being able to deal with your nerves and stuff like that, that definitely helps.
Yeah.
Obviously, the other side of it is, you knowing that everybody's going to want to take you down.
Yes.
So that always is in the back of my mind.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is why we train hard.
Yep, for sure. Now, in the big show, the UFC, would you have anybody in mind that you would love to fight? Like, if you could choose your opponent or opponents, not that you want to call anyone out, or of course, if you do, that's fine, but who do you think would be a fun match? Or which several women might be fun matches for you in the UFC, in the flyweight division?
Do you know what? I think there's a lot of girls that are, very good. They're obviously all up and coming. They're all good, well-rounded fighters. Obviously, the champ, Valentina, I'd love to fight her.
Yep.
Coming from that stand-up background also. But obviously, she's had a lot more fights, and she's obviously the champ. So there's another girl that I watched even at the couple of weeks ago, Meatball Molly.
Yes,
from England.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's another girl that could potentially, she's just started out, so it'd be a great fight to get.
Would you feel good about that, or would you perhaps maybe feel a little bit bad there being so few British women in the UFC that all of a sudden you'd be eliminating one of them? Would you prefer maybe not to do that, or it wouldn't matter to you either way?
No, it wouldn't matter to me either way.
Makes sense.
At the end of the day, obviously,
Yeah.
you're the only person getting in there fighting.
Absolutely, and she's a tough fighter. She had a great fight this last time. Well, speaking about fighters in the UFC, I know you were kind enough to agree to jump into our super popular pros pick segment, and I'd like to let our floor director and team know that the pros pick is brought to you by DigiSouth. Fantastic network marketing team, DigiSouth. You can't beat them. Check them out, and you will get the best help in your marketing presentation, social media, whatever you want. So let's jump into the fights here, and let me ask you, I think we've got 3 of them here. So first off, we have a guest on our show a few times that we like a lot. She's a jiu-jitsu black belt and also has got some good striking. She came in second without losing in the Ultimate Fighter a couple of years ago. Had an issue with weight, is the only reason why I think she didn't win the house. But we're talking about the super popular Sijara Eubanks, and she is going up against Aspen Ladd. I'd love to have a breakdown, maybe a 1 minute or 30-second breakdown on how you think that matchup plays out, and a prediction if you have one.
Oh, okay, yeah. Obviously, they actually fought before, didn't they?
Yep.
On Victor. I pretty much see it going the same way as obviously their last fight. I reckon that Aspen will grind her down. Obviously, Eubanks is very, very strong. She's very good, well-rounded fighter, and obviously black belt on the floor. So if she does obviously get taken down or anything like that, she's got a very good chance of tapping her out. But I reckon the fight will definitely go to Aspen Ladd.
Gotcha. Hard-fought fight. Do you think it'll go the distance?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Say that again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it will definitely go the distance.
Yep, I think so too. I think Sijara has improved a lot since they fought last. Now, Sijara had fought at flyweight, and this fight is at bantamweight. Her first fight back at bantamweight for a while. Aspen has been on a tear. Indeed, Aspen would be favored. I think it should be a great fight. I'm biased because I like Sijara a lot, but I also do think she can win the fight. But it will be a great fight, and indeed a tough one. Aspen could win it. So good call as far as the breakdown. And then how about the breakdown on? Oh wow, the next 2 are so great. How about a breakdown on Valentina Shevchenko, the aforementioned, someone you admire a lot with a Muay Thai background, against Jessica Ai, a very good striker who is a very experienced veteran for Valentina Shevchenko's UFC flyweight champion. How do you see that one unfolding?
Again, you're right. Jessica Ai is very good. All-rounded. She's got good wrestling defense, and really nice punches as well. I think that it will be a predominantly stand-up fight, and I think she will try and take her down within the second round. Jessica Ai will try and take her down second round, but Valentina's, underrated with her judo background. Again, she's very, very good, well-rounded. I reckon the fight will definitely go to Valentina.
Yeah, I think so too. Jessica Ai is tough, and she has really good hands. I still remember that fight against Leslie Smith where she nearly sliced Leslie Smith's ear off in Mexico. Remember that? And Leslie wanted to continue. What a warrior she was. But yeah, Jessica Ai is a tough girl. She's from the Midwest part of the USA, like myself, my co-host, Dr. Adam Rorta, and most of our team. And the Midwest has some great, wholesome, nice people, but also very passionate, tough people, and a lot of nice women, a lot of wonderfully tough fighting women as well. So Jessica Ai will be in there absolutely to leave it all in the cage, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough. I think it'll be a great fight, and interesting that you do feel Jessica will try to take Valentina down. You might be right. That would be really interesting, but yeah, I don't think that would work out for her that well either. Valentina Shevchenko, I think, wins that one in a tough fight. I have a feeling that both girls are going to be pretty marked up after that fight, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, she's not going to be a pushover, Jessica Ai. She's going to come there to definitely grind the fight out.
Without a doubt.
I think it'll go to points.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I think it will go to points.
Oh, you think it'll go to the decision? Absolutely. I think you're probably right. Although someone could stop someone on cuts, but I think neither girl tends to cut that much. You know what I mean? I know that a lot of the guys tend to have a lot of scar tissue and tend to get cut up more than the women. But you know, I'm sure there are some that's not the case with. But yeah, both these girls don't tend to get cut up that much. So I think you're probably right. But if it stopped, I think it might just be on cuts, not from anyone knocking anyone out or submitting them. Although Valentina is quite slick with her jiu-jitsu. Do you feel that Valentina is really at the right weight class here at featherweight, your weight class? Do you feel that coming up just short at bantamweight was because she was a bit undersized and that this is perfect for her? Or do you feel that she was equally as effective or more effective at bantamweight?
Yeah, I think she's better at 125.
At flyweight, right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Still.
She looks good at that weight. She's going to be as strong. I think going up a weight, some of the girls are just, you know, they drop too much weight. They're quite big.
Yeah.
So I think she fits in perfectly there.
I agree. Last fight here is one I am super excited about. Let's do this, go over this for perhaps 2 minutes, and then we'll have 2 minutes left. But love to hear your breakdown. The strawweight title fight. Thug Rose Namajunas, the Lithuanian-American, against the Brazilian Basta Esteca, the pile driver, in the form of Jessica Andrade. How does that one play out?
It's a really, really good matchup, definitely. Both of them, very, very good records. Both very, very experienced. I think Rose has got to be very slick. She's got to be very tactical with this fight. I think Jessica's going to come out and, you know, really attack her. You know, she's like a little bulldozer.
Yep.
And she'll come out swinging. She is, well, she looks phenomenally strong at that weight.
Yep.
She's quite small, so I think that Rose will try and keep her distance, using her jabs and the kicks that she does, and, you know, keep her at that range. If Jessica puts her against the cage, I think she will take her down.
Makes sense. Any prediction, or is this one too close to call?
It is a very, very close fight. I think it could go either way. I've got a feeling that one of them's going to be submitted.
Interesting. Yeah, you could be right. One thing I think for sure is, as they like to say here in the States, they're going to beat the crap out of each other, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I mean, once in a while, my girlfriend says to me, why do you like to see women beat the crap out of each other? And I say, I don't want to see women beat the crap out of each other any more than men beat the crap out of each other. I'm a fight fan. And so I'm not, you know, I sometimes feel like maybe some women feel that a man shouldn't say this, but I don't feel you'd be offended by that, right? The fact that I would mention that, right?
No, of course not.
Yeah.
That's part, you know, it's part of the game. They both want to win. They both want to, well, Rose wants to keep the belt. Jessica wants to take the belt.
Yep.
But yeah, I think if Jessica lands a clean punch on her, she could knock her out.
Yeah, she really could, or she could slam her, you know.
Very, very close fight to call.
It is. I can't call it either. It's going to be amazing. Well, in the last minute we have with you, I know you're hoping, I believe, that the big show you may end up with could be the UFC. I know nothing has been set yet, indeed, or has it?
No, it hasn't. Nothing's been set, no.
Gotcha. But we're hopeful, and I think that there's a lot of buzz, as they say, around you. So let people know how they can follow you in social media, and real quickly, the gym where you train, in case any professionals want to go out there and help get you some work.
Okay, so obviously I'm on Facebook and Instagram. So my Facebook's Bernice Aldis, and my Instagram's @BerniceAldis. I train at Keddle's Gym, which is in England. It's Alpington, Kent. I train there obviously with my partner. He's my main coach. Just want to shout out to a few guys at the gym there. Alan Keddle, he was my trainer through Thai boxing. My partner Dino Maringo. Jimmy Manoir is one of the heavyweights from light heavyweights
Awesome.
from UFC. Obviously I've got a lot of training partners obviously from there that we train with. So yeah, that's it really.
Great group. Well, Jimmy Mano, a much respected person, and absolutely would have inroads into the UFC, and hopefully he gets you there quickly. No other fight is set though with Fusion or anything yet, or is there?
No, there isn't yet. Just going to try and get on maybe one of the shows like Bellator or Cage Warriors, and try and get a good fight there.
Absolutely. Well, I'm really excited to see you fight. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. You're a well thought out person and a very respectful person, and someone that I can think people can relate to. You seem like just a regular girl who is got a career that most people would be afraid to try, and you've loved it from the beginning. And I think that you're someone that we can cheer for. I want to let you know I'll be cheering for you, as will our entire MMA Power Hour staff going forward. Please let us know when you hear anything about your next fight, and in the big show I know it's going to be coming soon for you. We'll be supporting you, and thank you so much, Bernice, for staying up so late and taking the time to join us here in the MMA Power Hour.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're very welcome. Have a great night.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. That was Bernice Aldis. Love that British accent, and this is someone who I think is going to be in the top 10 in a major organization, perhaps the UFC, in the next 2 years. How about that? By 2021, Bernice Aldis, top 10 flyweight. Yeah, she's killing it. 3-0 all stoppages, 47-4 in Muay Thai, and just a very calm, focused person who loves fighting and can break down fights. Love it. Dr. Adam Rorda.
Yeah, we're about to roll into a nice little segment here. So I am going to let you know we got some video and audio of the Bellator post-fight interviews. We jumped in and were able to ask a few questions as well. So we have some stuff here. Unfortunately, the video and audio didn't match up. There was some sort of glitch I was having when I was editing. So at the end of the day, you still got audio and you got video in the background. I went ahead and did what I could to make it pleasant for you, but stay tuned with us. We'll go ahead and watch. There's some great material here. Check out all these people out. We've got Dave Rickles, Saad Awad, David Gertz,
Brandon Gertz.
Brandon Gertz,
yep.
Sorry. And then we've got Strauss.
Daniel Strauss, yep.
There we go. Daniel Strauss and Alima Lay McFarland.
Yes.
So we got some awesome material for you. Check it out here, and then we'll be going into our next guest when we come back. We may have him on the line by the time you get back.
That's it. Enjoy. We'll be back. Enjoy this.
It's coming, Colin.
So I'm still on.
Yay!
We're still here.
There we go. We know the backstory. I mean, all that it took to get here and everything you had to battle to be here. So give us an idea what the emotion is like. I gotta think this isn't just another ordinary win for you.
Yeah, man. It's unique. It's different. It's special for me, special for my team, special for everybody that's helped me get here, and it's been a road. I'm thankful, grateful. I still got a whole lot of work to do. I'm not 100%. I've been telling people this for a while. Like, just because I'm here doesn't mean I'm at the top of the game. So I feel good. I get to continue to grow. Continue to showcase my skills and get back to what I want to do.
Yeah. What did it feel like walking in tonight? I mean, was there a different feel tonight, whether it be nerves, whether it be excitement, whether it be pressure? I mean, was it different than other fights?
Yeah, it's been a little different. It's I've always had nerves. I've always had, the ups and downs, but going in, it was going to be emotional. I know it was going to be emotional. Kind of tried to throw it in the back of my mind. Walked in there and just said, let's get to what we got to do. We can cry, scream, yell, all afterwards. And, that's what I'm going to do afterwards. So.
Impressive victory, of course, but how'd you feel about your performance overall in there tonight?
I wasn't happy. No, not at all. I mean, listen, you can win, but it doesn't make you, doesn't make it a great win. Change the, former opponent thing. I thank him for, having me inside the cage. And, there's a lot of things I wanted to clean up. There's a lot of things that I see now, like, that, I can improve on. Just things I need to continue to work on. So, and that's just me being hard on myself. Somebody else can say I did all right, whatever, but I feel like it could be done a lot better.
Interesting. Last thing for me, what do you want to do now? I mean, this was the big moment, right? But now you're back in the middle of your career. Do you want to stay at lightweight? Do you want to fight again? Do you need more time to heal? I mean, what do you do from here?
I continue. I just continue to battle. I continue to fight. If they call me tomorrow, let's fight. I've always been that person. Son, lightweight, featherweight, middleweight, whatever. Panel, whatever. I've always been that person. Put the contract in front of me, I sign it, I fight. It's block by block, and it's been block by block. Like my coach says, you got to get 1% better every day, and that's all I'm going to continue to do. I'm going to leave here, take tomorrow to chill with my girl, my daughter, and get back to it, get better, and then the day after that, get better. So.
Daniel, Colin Crandall here, Fight TV, MMA Power Hour. Congratulations, you look good out there, man. So 155 you could fight at, or 145. If you had to make a decision right now, what would it be, and how did it feel going against a guy a little bit bigger?
If I had to make a decision, I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
Money weight, like King Bo used to say, right?
Yeah, you put the contract in front of me, I'm gonna sign it, we're gonna fight.
Absolutely.
I have a long-standing history with some of the guys at featherweight. That's definitely where I feel like I belong, and I've always belonged. I started at lightweight, so it's not something I'm not familiar with.
Yeah.
So I can fight anywhere, man.
Absolutely.
And, I don't really care.
Absolutely. Anybody that would be a fun fight for you? Anyone on your mind if we could sign a contract right now?
All of them.
Anybody, right? So, what would you say is the timeline for you getting back to a title?
I'm trying to be champ by the end of the year.
2019, fantastic.
Trying to be the champ by the end of the year.
Sounds good, man. The way you fought.
Thank you.
The way you fought, you're going to be there, man.
Appreciate it.
Keep it up.
Thank you.
A fight like this, and at this point in your career, having your family and all your supporters here, what did that mean to you coming out of it?
It means the same that it's always meant in the world. These people don't got to be here. My coach doesn't have to be here. Michelle, my nutritionist, she doesn't have to be here. She has other people to be with. My other coach, Teddy, he has a family. The people that help me, build me up and help me get to where I'm at. They didn't have to do that. So it means the world to me. I don't know. It just means a lot. It's kind of hard to tell you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't know what you've been through. And to be sitting on this side and to do it, it's great. It's great.
Daniel, there are a lot of setbacks that fighters go through, and people who can end up in a similar position. What would be your advice for those guys if they ever have something happen about, staying strong to make that comeback like you have?
You know what, I've been saying this, and I said this the other day. Everybody wants me to be the spokesman for hard work and never giving up. But I think my message throughout all this has been loyalty, man. Those that believe in you, you got to believe in them back. Those that trust in you, you got to trust them back. And those that have been loyal to you, you got to be loyal back. Because those are the ones that's going to push you and care about you. And, you know what I mean? So everybody's going to work hard. Not everybody, but if you want to be that, everybody's going to work hard. But it's more than just working hard. It's a team. This has been me fighting tonight, me getting there and winning. It's not all on me. It's been a team effort, from top to bottom, from people cooking my meals, to, you know, somebody wiping my ass. I mean, it's been a team effort. And, I mean, it might be funny to say, but it's real. You know what I mean? Like, if it wasn't for everybody that's been around me and helped me, like, I wouldn't be here.
Thank you, guys.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I know it's still fresh right now and probably a little frustrating after a clash like that, but what's the feeling like right now after the fight?
Sucks. I don't think there's an explanation you can give when you lose a fight, especially one like that. Yeah.
How do you feel about your performance overall? I mean, that's one of the more memorable fights we've seen in recent history. I mean, is there any pride in knowing, you know, what you showed and the heart that you showed and the courage that you showed in there?
No, I mean, I fight the way I fight, you know. I just, he caught me with a couple of them. Like, I didn't see him coming, and I think that made all the difference. I think if I, you know, somehow stayed on my feet, I think that would have kind of rendered the judges' decisions, because I felt like I was controlling each round, but then he'll drop me, and that's a 10-8 round right there, so it's kind of hard to come back from that. So, I mean, hats off to him. The dude's a monster. We gave the fans a fight that they want to see. I feel like I said, the fans, if it went 3 rounds, they're going to win this one. I feel like they won.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely had some great moments as well. As you said, he had the knockdowns, but I mean, did you feel that that maybe you had done enough to win, or were you sure that you came up short?
I thought so. I mean, I did get dropped in the first. I don't know if it was twice, but I felt like I got back up and I controlled the rest of the round. Second, I felt like I won that round. There was a 30-27 judge scorecard. I don't know where the hell that came from. So whoever that was in, you get fired. Probably a fucking boxing judge. You know, it's fucked up. But I mean, like I said, it could have went either way. But when you have a judge like that that's doing something like that, it's fucked up to the sport. Because third round, I felt like I controlled the whole round, and then he did drop me, and he was on top. So I feel like that gave him the edge on that round. So, you know, each round was close. He did enough to, you know, win the judges' decisions, and, you know, he came out with the win.
In that third round, obviously he got the knockdown and he started hitting you for a few times while you were holding the one leg. It looked like that might have been close to being stopped. How did you feel in that moment? Did you feel like you were eating them well, or did you feel like you were in some trouble?
I thought the ref was going to stop it because it was in the back of the head. I mean, he did have control. I couldn't get up, I'll be honest with you, but at the same time I was getting punched in the back of the head, so I was like, okay, I can't get up. So the ref, you know, he's not stopping it because I can't get up, but I'm getting punched in the back of the head. Maybe he'll stop it because this. And, you know, the ref let it go, and, you know, I guess I got to go back and watch and see if maybe I was wrong, but I felt him in the back of the head.
Very good fight, Saad, really. If you could get a rematch, would you like one? And if so, what would you do differently?
I mean, if we had a rematch, we'd probably fight the same exact way. I mean, it's in our blood.
Rematch soon.
It's in our blood. We fight. You know, we fight. You know, we're both fighters. He walks out with the gladiator ranks for a reason, and the man's a gladiator. And I come to fight. You know what I mean? Fighting's my blood. I'm from Palestine, Gaza. You know, we're still fighting. You know, and everybody knows that.
Absolutely, you're a true warrior. That was amazing, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you wish that as a main event it would go maybe 5 rounds, or are you just content with letting the fight go the way it goes?
I felt like I was gaining on him. You know, honestly, I felt like I was. I felt like my pressure was slowing him down. You know, and I was making him throw big punches. And I, you know, had it go 4 or 5 rounds. Who knows? I would have been able to take him out anytime soon, but I did feel him slowing down. You know, had it been a 5-round fight, it could have been a different fight.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for your time.
Thanks, Saad. Appreciate it.
Well, no question about it. I mean, that was an absolute brawl out there. Give us I mean, how are you feeling physically? How are you feeling emotionally? What's going through your head right now?
You know, when you win, everything hurts a lot less. Let's just put it that way. But no, that was a war out there. I knew what I was getting with him. I got excited in the beginning because I thought I put him out right away. You know, I looked at him. He did go out, and he came right back. You know, and I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be a fight. You know, so it was good, man. I felt good coming back after that layoff, you know, and to have a fight like that. And, you know, that's what I do. I come to fight. You put somebody like Assad in front of me, you're going to see a fight. You know, I'm not going to quit. When I get hit, I come back harder. You know, I'm a fighter, and when someone pisses me off, that's what you're going to get. You're never going to see me cower back.
How did you feel about the flow of the fight? Because as you said, you were scoring the bigger shots, no question about it, but he was having success as well, coming back with combinations. How did you feel the flow of the fight was going?
I thought it was going my way. I thought I was for sure landing the harder shots. I mean, he went down twice, 3 times, you know, and he hit me with some stuff, but until I think there was a straight he hit me in the end that did hit me right square in the eyeball, and I felt it, and I went to go blink a couple times, and I'm like, no, don't show me, gotcha, you know, and so I thought it was going my way. When he came or when he was going, I was landing the cleaner shots, you know. The guy's an animal. He doesn't stop coming, you know, but like I said, I felt good in there.
when it went to the cards. I mean, were you confident that you had done enough, or was there some concern that maybe he would be rewarded?
I thought I did it. I thought I for sure won the fight. You never know when it goes to the judges. I didn't want it. I thought, are these guys gonna screw me? That's gonna go through your head. I've had it happen before. I don't like to go to judges. That's why you see me every time I throw. I'm throwing to end the fight. To go to the judges is nothing I'm looking to do.
Yeah, and last thing for me, I mean, I imagine you're gonna want to rest up a little bit after a brawl like that. But it was a long time getting back here. So what's the plan from here?
Like you said, rest up a little bit. I hurt my knee in there a little bit, and first we gotta get that checked out, see what's up with that. But other than that, man, I want to get in there as soon as possible. I've been laid off almost a year. I'm looking to get as many fights this year as I can. I'm looking to make that run right now.
You had that moment in the third. You were raining down with a lot of shots. It looked like the ref might have been close to stopping it. Did you think that he was going to call the fight then?
I did. I thought it was again. It was just like in that first round, right in the very beginning when I rocked him. I thought he was dead, and then he came back, and then right there, I thought he was done again, and he just came back. He's a damn warrior. When I thought there was no way he was gonna move from there, but that guy, he doesn't stop moving. My top control is excellent. No one usually gets up, and I couldn't hold him down. So he's like I said, hats off to him. He did everything he had to do to stay in that fight. He kept fighting hard.
How do you rate your performance from 1 to 10?
I'm giving it. That was my first fight in a while. I'm giving it a 10. Man, I had somebody in front of me that I landed hard shots that most people would have quit. I saw him go out and come back and continue to fight. He was even talking to me in there. I'm gonna land it. I'm gonna get it.
Nice.
And I'm like, no, you ain't. I'm like, no, you ain't. I'm like, keep throwing it. Like I said, that was a hell of a performance. When I step out there, you're gonna see action.
Yeah.
That's what I'm out here to entertain, and I'm out here to put someone away.
Yeah, you are like one of the Rockies of MMA. That I want to absolutely give you credit for many years. Was there anything unexpected that happened in that fight? Did he bring anything that you didn't think you were going to see?
I can't say that. Like I said, when he didn't stay down, that was unexpected, and I thought when I got on top, I'd be able to control more. And at the end, I was hearing try to take him down. I was thinking in my head, I'd take him down. He's gonna get back up. So that was unexpected. Like I said, when I get on top, I usually have great control up there, and the guy just doesn't stop.
Yeah,
And I thought I was gonna kill him, and he didn't let me do it.
Yeah. Last one. Who might be a good opponent for you next, and how close are you to getting back to Chandler?
I haven't really thought past Assad. I'm not gonna lie. He was the only guy I've been thinking about. I haven't even, I've been out a year. The roster changes, the top names change. I had him in my sights, and I have Chandler in my sights. I'm not saying Chandler's next. I know I gotta go out there and put another one of these on and hopefully knock somebody out next. But I got nobody in mind. I just want a top guy. I want someone that wants to fight.
Sounds good. You be ready maybe 6 months from now, or it depends?
Oh, better be earlier than 6 months.
Yeah.
Don't put me on a shelf for 6 months. I'm hungry right now. Like I said, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take a much needed vacation. I've been training hard since last fight. I haven't been in there for a while, but I had to rehab the shit out of the shoulder. So I've been working for the last year hard as hell. So little break, but not 6 months.
Well, it paid off. You look fantastic.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Now, throughout the fight, the crowd was going crazy throughout the entire 3 rounds. At any point, did you hear the crowd? Did it fuel you on any of those difficult times?
Yeah, I heard the crowd. In a way, I would hear it, but like I said, I go in there and I'm focused on Assad. There's background noise. I can hear my corner sometimes, and I could hear Assad in there. But in my mind, all I was thinking about is kill, and that's all I could hear.
Did Assad ever say anything to you during the fight? Did he?
Oh yeah, he was talking. He was saying this is gonna land, stuff like that, and I was telling him it's not gonna land, and we were going. It was all good fun. None of it was bad. I have mad respect for that guy, and he has it for me too. So it was all good. A little giant in there, but it was just like a sparring match with Gaethje. That's how he talks to me, and we talk to each other in there, and it was kind of the same thing.
Nice. Thank you.
How happy were you to see your dog get into the octagon to congratulate you, essentially?
I didn't even see him right away. I saw him over there making sure Assad was all right at first. I saw him over there and I was like, Ichi, you know? And he's like, I came over and fucking made sure I was all right. But he was checking on Assad first. So I know earlier in the week he punked Assad when he went down to pet him and he punked him and walked away, so I'm sure he was checking out. He knew it was all cool now.
Last time I saw a dog in the ring was Enson Inoue beating Randy Couture over in Japan about 20 years ago. So that was awesome.
Jeez, dang, that was a while ago. Yeah, I'll be in that company.
Absolutely.
I'll be in that company.
You deserve it.
Appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you. Huh?
Quite the battle out there. I guess let us know how you're feeling after going through a war like that.
Hell yeah, man. You know, I've been waiting for a chance to prove my fucking heart ever since the MVP fight. Like that was a moment, man, where like my heart was tested in the cage. And when you have a moment like that, you want to have a comeback from that. You know what I mean? Like I still got this fucking heart. I'm still competitive in this game. And I got rocked early because I didn't turn it on. I started a little stale. I turned it on, and then that's how I got the finish.
How hurt were you early? I mean, it looked like there was a chance it could be over.
I was definitely hurt. My head recovered a lot quicker than my feet did. Like, so I was up on my feet, but they were like still doing the deer shit. So it took a second to recover, and then I felt sharp again.
Nice. The mouthpiece, you got to address that. I mean, I know you were embarrassed by it, I guess. I
was.
Yeah.
I was straight up embarrassed by it because I had to go to fucking Walmart last minute and buy a new mouthpiece. I bought some damn $10 mouthpiece at Walmart. So if there's a mouthpiece sponsor out there, send me a goddamn mouthpiece that says Caveman on it. No. Long story, my car got broken into, and they stole my Caveman mouthpiece.
That's
yeah.
Do you feel like it impacted the fight at all? Because I think there's some people that might say, you were getting some added timeouts in there, or maybe it messed up the flow of the fight. Or do you feel like it had a direct impact on the fight itself?
Fuck, I don't know, man. If anything, man, it was helping him towards the end because I had him hurt pretty bad, and then that shit kept jumping out. You know what I mean? I had him hurt, and then I was trying to finish, and it was jumping out. And thankfully, the ref was allowing me to still fight with the mouthpiece out. Because I did have him hurt. So it was a really weird situation, but got to finish regardless. I was really wanting to fucking go toe to toe towards the end, but his shit is pretty swollen, so.
And lastly for me, talk about the ending, because did you know what was going on? I mean, it looked like obviously a clean punch, but were you concerned? Did you know what was happening? What? Talk about it.
Yeah, I was hella concerned because think about when I fought old John, I can't remember his name, but I need him on the ground or whatever, and I was worried that he was gonna get like an eye poke win. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I fucking punched that motherfucker. So I was hoping that they'd check out the replay and they'd clear me. And obviously everything played out the way it should have, and it was a tough fight, man. And my kids were watching at home. And my kids love WWF, bro. So this is why I did this fucking walkout. And I just had a blast out there.
Dave, when you were hurt, were you worried at all, or how hurt were you? Were you seeing stars? Did you know where you were?
No, I was hurt initially. Boom. You get that wobble, and then my head was back instantly, right? But my legs just weren't quite with me, right? So I was just like, okay. I could hear my cornermen. They were like, dance, circle, move around a little bit. And so that's what I started doing. I recovered myself pretty quick and hurt him very quickly afterwards. So
did you get hurt again though at all, or just that one time?
No, just that one time. That was the only time. And after that, I went into kill mode. I was like, I gotta bite down on my mouthpiece and fucking go, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So,
did you feel you could get him out of there, or were you prepared to go?
Yeah, no, shit. But my gas tank is stupid, yo. So we could have fought like that for 3 rounds, and he was gassed and tired. So I gained confidence in that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We could have kept going. It could have been whatever, but it wasn't.
And speaking about starting slow and him catching you, did you start slow a little bit because you felt that there really wasn't too much danger with his opponent, or for what reason did you start slow?
Yeah, he was really pushing his punches at first.
Yeah.
And so I was like, he's slow. And then he was like, wow. And I was like, oh shit, damn, he's not as slow as I thought he was. So there was kind of that he was like punching real slow and kind of rigid. And I guess he was kind of feeling me out. and then he landed that overhand. My coach is bitching at me right now. I know it because he's like, keep your left hand up.
Yep.
But I don't know, paid off. So got the win.
I saw a level change. Were you thinking at all about a takedown? It looks like.
Yeah, I mean, especially when I was hurt, I was like, fuck, okay. If he gets close enough, I'm gonna shoot a takedown. But you know, I'm a mixed martial artist, so that's another thing I've been trying to do more in my fights is like mix it up a little bit more because I've basically just stood up with people for the entire my entire career. So I've been thinking about, and I got good takedowns. I got good wrestling. I got good chokes. I got good everything.
Yeah, your jiu-jitsu.
But you know, when I first started Bellator, I had like 5 triangles in a row.
I remember.
So I just want to get back to being more of a martial artist.
Anybody on your radar? If you had to throw out a few names, anyone let you jump in?
Vincent Henderson, Roger Huerta. Goddamn, I don't know. Anybody that's about my damn size, they can get the smoke.
How soon do you think you're ready again?
At least 60 days.
Makes sense.
Because I'm like, cut or whatever. They said I need 60 days or some shit. So
everything else feeling good? Or you?
Everything else feels good. He caught me with a good leg kick. He's a little bruised up. I know he kicks hard. I expected him to kick more, but yeah, I don't know. Feels pretty good.
Definitely. You dug down. It was like a Rocky type of performance. You were down, and people were worried, and I was saying, "Come on, Dave."
Yeah.
And then you just sucked it up, right? And you just what did you tell yourself anything when that happened?
Yeah, 100%. I said, "Not fucking today." That's seriously what I said in my head because, going into this fight, like I used to never let my kids watch my fights, and I'm like, man, fuck that. They need to see what hard looks like, and hey, I got to show them today.
Absolutely.
So.
This is great. The only thing would have been better would have been if it was in Kansas and Wichita.
The only thing would have been better, honestly, in Kansas, but also if I would have been able to seal the deal. Like, I really wanted to seal the deal and finish him, but,
essentially, that was what was done. He couldn't
Right. He couldn't continue, so.
Yeah. Performance after getting caught, would you give yourself a 9 or a 10 after getting caught for how quickly you
Yeah, for
jumped
turning it back on? Hell yeah.
Yeah,
I'd give myself a good performance. I think I started stale, but other than that, I turned it right up. I started moving my feet a little bit better. I started listening to my coaches. My coaches were like, circle right, motherfucker, don't be an idiot.
Yeah.
So I started doing that and started landing.
Absolutely. You look sharp. I was very impressed.
Yeah, thank you. I think my best move was actually the Stone Cold Stunner after the fight, though.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I think so. I think that was fantastic. Among the rest, it was all good.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate it. Anything more, John?
Thank you,
Dave,
sir.
love to get a picture after.
What the feeling's like right now. I mean, we know what a special fight it was last time out and everything that was associated with it. Now, I wonder, is there any kind of a letdown, something that's it's difficult to build back up to that level this time around?
Not at all. Obviously, Bellator Hawaii was, beyond my wildest dreams, and it was the perfect fairy tale story and everything. But San Jose is a completely different fight. It's a different crowd, a different scene. It's a different walkout. Of course, my walkout's gonna be bomb, So I didn't know. I don't feel like I have to fight in San Jose. I'm actually super excited just to get that different vibe going. So not at all.
What about the matchup itself? I mean, there was some surprise, I think, maybe when it was announced. But I mean, what do you feel about the fight itself?
I was totally not surprised when it was announced. I mean, I thought Vita, again, she's been on a rip right now, and she's been performing. So I was actually expecting to get Vita. And again, it's interesting because of course I'm nervous for all of my fights. I was especially nervous for the Valerie fight. And with Vita, I'm just excited, and not because I'm overlooking her or anything. I think it's going to be an exciting fight, and of course, I'll probably get nervous as the day gets closer, but right now, I'm just so pumped. I'm just ready to go.
What is all this water training that you're doing? It's I find myself having difficulty breathing watching your Instagram,
Yeah, so it's this amazing underwater training that I discovered. I actually did it for Bellator Hawaii. So it's called Deep End Fitness / Underwater Torpedo League. It's with these former Special Ops Marine Raiders, Prime Hall. He's the founder of it, and it's just an incredibly different way of training, not just your body but your mind. Of course, there's a lot of physical benefits to it, like training your body to work with less oxygen, which in the fights you see fighters gas out all the time because they can't oxygenate their muscles and lift their arms up. So besides the physical benefits, the mental side is what I think is the craziest. Like, being able to perform while not being able to breathe is a huge mind. I was going to say the F word, but you know what I mean. Yeah.
The last thing for me, I guess, what is the goal here? I mean, obviously defending your belt, staying champion, but I mean, do you feel like you need to go out there and send? I mean, you're this like budding superstar, and there's so much more attention. Do you feel like there's something that you have to accomplish or you have to do in this fight?
No, I mean, I feel like that's kind of ego that gets in the way. You know, a lot of people are like, well, what's your game plan against her? Are you just going to stand and bang? And while a part of me does want to, it's like I'm giving her a chance, you know? So I got to keep continuing to do what I do, which is being a smart fighter. And yeah, not letting my ego get in the way. So I don't feel like I need to prove anything. I don't think I need to like stand and brawl with a brawler. So no, same game plan.
On the other hand, you know, you have some big stuff. We see you for the Budweiser ad in Hawaii, which must be crazy to see.
Yep.
I guess, so what, you know, 2 years ago, you were still on the up and up. Now you're one of the faces of Bellator. Just what has been, I guess, your favorite thing? What's the coolest thing to just share with the people around you as you become a bigger star?
You know, I really like sharing my personal life also. You know, I think people appreciate that I am pretty authentic via social media. That's kind of what everybody sees, you know? And yeah, so I like the fact that I do let people into my life and see what it's like. I'm not always just posting ads or my life's so great on social media. You know, it's like I let people into the real stuff. So I think, yeah, that's what people see and that's what people have liked so far. And I'm going to keep being real, keep being me.
You and the girls at San Diego, you know, at 10th Planet, very nice. So how the heck is the team getting called the Mean Girls in the area?
It's because of the movie, Mean Girls. We're like, you can't train with us. So, but no, our coach Manolo Hernandez, he created that team name for us because honestly, none of us have ego. We will seriously beat the crap out of each other, punch each other in the face, and then go out for lunch after. You know, and it's girls get a little personal, you know, but our team is like totally no drama, no cattiness. Like we all gotta eat, we all take our medicine, and then that's it. We're all homies at the end of the day.
Can I get some breaking news? What's gonna be your character for your next weigh-in?
Ooh, I will tell you that the theme for this fight is gonna be water. It's actually gonna be the Hawaiian wave because at Bellator Hawaii, if you guys watched, there was a wave that started during the third round, and you can literally see the crowd. And so, yeah, we're bringing that Hawaiian wave to San Jose. And yeah, that's what I'll tell you guys. It's going to be water, it's going to be waves. That's all.
Awesome. Lima, Colin Crandall here, MMA Power Hour Fight TV. How are you doing? Big fan. Love Manolo. Had him on my show a year ago. Tell him I said hello. Question for you. Since you've been champion, do you feel any extra pressure to not only perform well, but to win and to win spectacularly?
I mean, honestly, all the pressure was really for Bellator Hawaii. That was the most pressure I've ever felt going into a fight. And the fact that, I mean, the outcome of it has definitely lowered everything. I mean, right now, I mentioned with Goldie that I'm like, you know, right now I just want to win so I can get a house for my dog. So I guess I'm like feeling some parental pressure there. I feel so bad. We're in an apartment, and you know he can't like run outside. You know, and like I'm so tired during camp that when I come home, he's just staring at me like, "Are we gonna go play?"
Right. What is it about the Hawaiian fighters that give you guys this intensity and this warrior spirit that's just like unbeatable? Can you give me any idea of what's going on over there? And is it recent, or was it always the case with fighters from Hawaii?
So as cliche as it sounds, it is in our DNA. Our ancestors, you know, we were a fighting warrior nation. And so again, it's been in our blood all these centuries. However, it is also a very huge cultural thing back home. And not saying that everybody's like brawling on the streets, but like growing up, you got into street fights, but you would shake the person's hand afterwards. Sometimes even parents are watching, you know, and the parents will shake hands. So it's definitely a cultural thing. It's not something that you know, was really looked down on in Hawaii. It's yeah, but you know, I feel like it's a good thing because some people need to get punched. You know, you just need to feel that at some point in your life.
Last question for me: do you feel like you're in your prime right now and everything is pretty much on point to where you want it? I know no one would give themselves a 10 or an A+, but do you feel this is the best of Lima Lane McFarland, or do you feel you're still a year or two or more away from that?
I definitely think I'm still evolving, and physically, women actually, I think their primes are like age 28 to 33. I'm about to turn 29 in a couple days, so I'm like, I'm right there in the beginning, baby. But Yeah, no, I think I'm totally still evolving as a fighter. That's why I'm excited also for this veto fight, because we've been working on some sneaky things that people probably won't expect. So, no, I think that this isn't the very beginning, but it's definitely like climbing.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. I know. I'm like,
And welcome back to the show. Well, welcome back to us, and welcome. We're glad to be back.
Yes.
excited to be here real quick.
Yes.
Wanted to go ahead and say thank you for tuning in, checking us out every single week. Those of you that are doing it, and those of you, if this is your first time, make sure to give us a like, comment, and share. Let us know that you're here. This is your first time, and we will get back to you. We do our best to respond to absolutely everybody every time. That's something that we pride ourselves on. So let's keep this interactive, and I would like to know you boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and know who you are. It helps our show out a lot when we get to know who is actually checking us out.
Absolutely, it does. Thank you for that, Dr. Adam Rorta. Daniel Alexander, thank you so much for the comments. Appreciate you liking the show. A long time, one of our OG supporters of our show. Daniel, thank you so much. Really appreciate you like how everything is looking today. Thank you, brother. And glad you liked the first guest. We have an amazing next guest for you coming up in the next few minutes. But do we need to do some thank yous first?
Oh, absolutely. So I want to thank Combat Press. What is it? The other one, Mixed Martial Arts or Cross-Trained MMA Fighter.
Yes, sir.
.com, where you can get some awesome apparel. Now I'm going to jump right on back to Combat Press. I go to them for all my combat sports related news. You can check out a lot of their some of their stuff on our Facebook page and our website. We're not going to really release too much information on our website yet. Some people have discovered it, not too many of you. But once that's up and running full bore, we will have all of their news plus some more, and we are excited to really be including them along the way. Combatpress.com, where every fight has a story. I go to them, check them out every day, and check their rankings. I love their rankings. I disagree with some of them, but majority of them we agree with. You see the rankings across the screen. Our base is based off of their rankings, and then we adjust according to our own thoughts and opinions on it. And we listen to you guys a little bit as well, which should help with your Vegas betting, your
endeavors in gambling.
I'm hesitant to say anything about it because I don't want to sit here and condone betting.
We don't encourage gambling necessarily, but we do in a way. No, we don't in a way. Only if you're already doing it, then we want to try to give you as much insight as we can. Thank you for the great roaring, Dr. Adam Rorta. Is there any more you can have to roar about?
DigiSouth, if you have any social media marketing needs, content creation, if you need somebody to handle the actual content that's being posted, anything like that, go to digisouth.co where they can help you out, or you can hit me up with a message directly on Facebook. Even if we're not friends, I do check my message requests. I will check my inbox and see where we're at. I can help you out and direct you in the right direction. And other than that, I think we're pretty much ready to go and move on to our next guest.
Excellent. Thank you to all of those great sponsors. DigiSouth, you know, they said old saying, dig that digi. That's going to be the new saying that everyone's going to be saying, dig that digi. Anyway, so digi is great. So Dr. Adam Rorta is going to be roaring his way into connecting our next guest, and we're super excited to have him here. Coming, yes, he's roaring away. He's still roaring now as we're talking, but always good since he is the congressman, and the congressmen have a right to say that. Do we have communication? Josh, can you hear me?
No, he's not on yet.
He's not on yet.
Yep.
There we go. Anyway, so
he is now.
Now he is. Josh, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you?
Josh,
hear me?
can you hear me?
Let's see. Can you hear me?
Hey Josh, you know what? I see what's going on. Sorry about that. We had a technical error here with the microphones. Now I have a feeling you're talking. You're there, right, Josh?
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Thanks you for your patience, my friend. Hey, let me give you the proper introduction here. We're live, but we want to get video. So if you can hit that video button, it looks like the.
Oh, you guys want to do a video?
If you could, yeah, if it's all right. You know, I hate to surprise you with that. Hey, the one thing you don't have to worry about, you don't have to worry about brushing your hair though or anything that much, right?
Right.
That's
I'm just gonna go in my office then. And,
I see. I'd hate to impose. Yeah, I know that you had a lot of stuff going on, and if you can, that's cool. If not, I get we can do audio if need be. But I know people would love to see you.
That's all good.
I appreciate it, brother. Couldn't you know what I was just thinking, Josh? Wouldn't it be funny if someone had a show that actually didn't have any guests and had someone doing like a voice impression of a guest in an audio only? And they had someone saying, who knows what it was. They could say, yes, we have every single UFC champion scheduled this week. And it's really like a buddy of theirs doing an impression of a fighter. That'd be great. But yeah, you can see, ladies and gentlemen, this is indeed Josh Emmett coming off a huge knockout win in this last UFC Philly against the menace, Michael Johnson. We are talking about none other than a UFC featherweight contender, Josh Emmett. Welcome back to the show, Josh.
Cool. Thanks for having me back on, you guys.
My pleasure. Really appreciate it. So, man, that was an exciting fight. Do you go into a fight having any preferences as to whether it goes really quick and easy? I mean, no one obviously wants to be necessarily in a war where everyone's beaten to a pulp. But was it fun for you to kind of have a good back and forth? You seem like kind of a chess player and a chess master to me. So I have a feeling there was something that was fun in having to try to solve the problems that Michael was presenting. But how did that fight go as opposed to what you were thinking it might go? And how did you feel about the way the whole fight went down during the fight?
Yeah, it went honestly according to plan. Any fight, like I want to get in and out as fast as I can. Like perfect case scenario, I go in there, land the first punch, and the fight's over. I have no injuries. I get to go home and do it again shortly after. But I knew since I was fighting Michael Johnson how tough of a veteran he is, and the level of competition that he's faced before, and he's beat some of the best guys. Like look at the lightweight division. He beat Dustin Poirier, knocked him out. He beat Tony Ferguson. He beat Edson Barboza, and the list goes on. And he's fought some of the greats too. And so I knew. I gave him a lot of respect. I give everyone respect, but I gave him a lot of respect just because how long he's been in the UFC and the opponents he's faced. But it's different for me. I had a lot of teammates and coaches fight him too, so they give you a little insight. And this goes with anyone, any opponent that I've had before that I've had other teammates or coaches fight. But I really don't know what it's going to be like until I get in there, until I see the speed, until I feel the power and the strength of my opponent. Because we all have different fighting styles. We all have different body types. And so my coaches always say too, like I always give them too much respect. But I got in there and like they said, I did give him too much respect. He just wasn't as fast as I thought he was going to be. I saw everything. And as far as the power goes, that happens a lot with me. I spar a lot of pro boxers, and their power is different. It's a different type of power. And so when I get in there and my opponent hits me, I'm like, okay, it's not too bad. But I know you can get caught or anything can happen with 4-ounce gloves. But yeah, it went perfect. I stuck to the game plan. I knew I had to be more cautious fighting Michael Johnson just because I can't go in there recklessly and get caught with something and end up on his highlight reel. So I knew I had to be methodical about things. I had to stick to the game plan and kind of just set him up. And that's exactly what I did. Going into the fight, my coach Joey was telling me, because he knows I feed off the crowd and I'm in the entertainment business and I want to please the fans and all this type of stuff. He said, they're going to boo you if you're moving around and you're doing what you're supposed to do. Don't let that bother you. Don't let it get in your head. Just stick to the game plan. So when the fans did start booing me or booing us, he was like, just keep doing what you're doing. Just because the game plan was to move around a lot of level chains, feints, fakes, and I was shooting in, but I wasn't going for the takedown. If you saw it, I would just kind of shoot in and have him think about it. And I kept doing that. He did really well the first and second round of keeping that distance, not allowing me to get close to him and close the gap, which I want to do and get into a firefight. And I kept hitting him in the body with the cross and the jab and level changes. And in the third round, that's when I would do stuff like that, I would see him drop his left hand. He was trying to block my right straight to the body with his left hand, and he was a lot more confident, and so he wasn't keeping that range. He was like letting me get a lot closer to him, and he was just kind of okay. He accepted, okay, we're just going to kind of trade back and forth, and I wasn't really doing much. And so that's kind of how I saw that playing out, and I feinted, and I stepped to the outside, which you see me get outside his lead leg, and then from there I just kind of throw my jab out there to get his hands up, jab kind of to the body, and then as I changed levels, he thought I was throwing it straight to the body. He dropped that left hand, and I just looped it over his left hand right to his chin.
Yeah. Did you know when you connected it was over?
Yes. Yeah. I just, it's the same sensation I have in sparring, I've had in fights. It's kind of like the Lamas fight. I knew when I hit him, it was just perfect. Like, I can just feel it, like it's right through the glove. The knuckle is just like the contact, and he was out before he started falling down.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why I just kind of, walked over to him to make sure. And if he moved, then I would have, sealed the deal right there. But
yeah.
I knew there was no need or necessary, like there's no need to follow up with any other type of punches. I think it's that much sweeter, that much more violent when you hit someone one time and they're just out. And that's even going back to, I didn't get a bonus, and I was disappointed, shocked, as well as everyone else. And then I saw the UFC posted this thing on Instagram. It was like Gaethje with the finish. It was Pettis and
Paul
Masvidal.
Craig. Yeah, Paul Craig.
Yeah. No. But I was saying this is who had the best knockout.
Oh, they were. Oh man, that's
March. And so all those guys that I mentioned that I'm in the running with, they all got bonuses. And the other thing is they also had to follow up to get the finish. I hit him once and it was done. That's a lot more. That means a lot more to me, and it just shows the type of power I have, and especially over such a season. But Michael Johnson has never been knocked out like that. I think someone got a TKO one time or early on, maybe mistaken, but I know for a fact he's never been KO'd like that. That was his first time.
No one stiffened his legs up like that and made him fall like that ever. Yeah, it's a shame that you didn't get the bonus. It really is. You absolutely deserve that. All I can think of is it seems almost like they tend to give preferential treatment to someone in the main event having a good fight, which is really unfair. I mean, those guys are getting extra money anyway, being in the main event, and then all of a sudden they have to be given preferential treatment to get a bonus. That sucks. That bonus should have been yours 100%. I know a lot of people watching this will agree with that. Also, big respect to you for walking away there and not putting more punishment on someone that was out. Man, you're a class act, and I definitely appreciate that.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Were you one of the reasons why I think Michael was feeling confident was many people were feeling you may have been down 2-0. Were you hearing anything like that from your corner? Was Uriah telling you anything?
No, I thought I won the first round, and then we gave him the second round. But I didn't like how close it was, you know.
Yeah.
But I thought, like, going back to it, I watched the fight. I thought hands down I won the first round, and he won the second. But what I did hear from my coaches and corners is, we're trying to like you said, solve the puzzle in front of us. And after that, I felt his power, his speed. It didn't really faze me at all. Nothing I've seen before. But after going to the corner in the second, they're like, hey, it's pretty close. Let's go out there and just let it go. Like, open up now. You felt it. He's not going to do anything else. Just go out there. Let's look for a big third round. Let's look for the finish. And I was like, okay, so you can see right from the start, I get out there and I start doing way more than I was in the first and second round. And I know I just have to land one punch. That's all I have to do. One punch, and it can be over. And or any strike, actually, I can land a kick, knee, elbow, whatever it may be, my left, right hand. And I throw everything with bad intentions, and that's all it takes. And, 15 minutes, 25 minutes is a long time to fight somebody. 5 minutes is a long time to fight someone. Yeah. I know I can put someone away. Even you're physically fighting someone for 2 minutes. Like, I have to land one, and I know I will eventually land something. So it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And you have that kind of power and that kind of technique and skill. I was watching with a friend who wasn't as familiar, or one of my friends that's familiar with MMA, and there's a lot of fighters. He doesn't even know some of the champions. Wasn't familiar with you and was interested in the fight. And I said, look at this fight. Josh Emmett is a guy that has serious power. And I said, if he can touch him, if he can just touch this guy, this fight will be over. And my friend said, okay. He said, well, it looks like it's tight. And I said, I mean, because he sees Johnson as what 4 inches taller than you. He's got this reach. He's coming down from lightweight, he's a big featherweight, beat all those great people. And so I think this was really a testament to your skill and your power. I mean, the bottom line is without you pulling it out, maybe you would have won the next round, or they might have given it to him or whatever. But, on paper, some people might have felt this was a bad matchup. I think they had him as a slight favorite in the betting, but I definitely felt confident in what you had to say, what you had to bring to the table, and was really excited to see that your skill and your power came through. Do you have the same people cornering you all the time? Is it Uriah and Justin, or who do you have?
Yeah, it's always Joey Rodriguez, my boxing coach.
Right.
Danny Castillo.
Right.
And then just kind of depending on, I had a lot of times my jiu-jitsu coach, Felipe Brijo. And then I'm just being a little more strategic on, depending on the opponent I'm fighting. If I was fighting a BJJ black belt, yeah, I'll bring Felipe. If this time I was working a lot of, transitions and stuff with Uriah, and since Michael Johnson are a striker and comes from a little bit of a wrestling background too, we just working a lot of different things. If I'm fighting like a Muay Thai guy, then possibly I've been working with another coach down in Dublin at Combat Sports Academy, Coach Kieran. If I'm fighting a kickboxer or a Muay Thai guy, I'll bring him. So I'm just trying to be strategic based off my opponent. But I've always had, Danny and Joey there, and and Felipe. But now we're just kind of working different things based off of that.
Very cool. Great people, great team. It's cool that you gave them credit. They deserve it. Always been a big fan of TAM, Team Alpha Male, and Uriah Faber. I think without Uriah Faber, who knows, the lightest weight in the UFC, the lightest weight class might still be 170. Huh?
Yeah, right. Yeah, he kind of paved the way for a lot of the lightweights, and he was the poster boy for WEC and the lighter weights in the UFC, and he's still doing big things. And he's about to do a grappling match against some kid from the UK, I believe, that's supposed to be really good. So he's pumped. He's always in the gym, but now he's like really getting after it because he needs to shed some pounds. Just had a baby, and he keeps saying he has a little dad bod. So he's trying to get some weight off, get in shape to get ready for this kid that's supposed to be something special.
Absolutely. Well, God bless Uriah Faber and his kid. That's beautiful. He's a great guy, great former WC champion and longtime top contender. May I ask you, when the fight was over and you guys were brought into Ring Center, Michael Johnson looks like he extended his hand. All respect to Michael Johnson, he had a look on his face almost like he was saying, "Great fight, dude. This is the worst result I could have possibly asked for. Thank you for delivering it to me." But I'm sure he didn't say that. Did he say anything interesting other than just good fight, man?
No, I don't think he was really saying anything. He was a little confused. I think he was asking the ref about like, why did you stop it? I wasn't out. Like, I just don't. I think he just wasn't in the right state of mind. It's just crazy when the switch turns off. Like even my last fight, after I got knocked out, I watched the fight, and then I saw me sitting on the stool. I don't remember anything. And so I asked my coaches, I was like, "Oh, did they take me out on a stretcher? How'd I get out of the octagon?" They're like, "You walked out." I was like, "I walked out?" Like, I don't remember any of that. So I think he was just kind of in that state, and I totally understand. But he was kind of arguing with the ref and his coach. Was like, "Man, I wasn't out. Why'd he stop the fight?" And the ref's like, "Man, watch the fight."
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people don't know that when you have some sort of a mild concussion, it does knock out your memory. You know where I learned that, man? I like to watch some of those documentary, like crime documentaries sometimes. And and they said that one person had claimed they had been knocked unconscious, but then gave a description of every single thing that happened before and immediately afterward. And the police said, if you're knocked unconscious, you're not going to have that clarity on everything that was happening right before or right after. You're not going to have much clarity at all, in fact. And they said that's how they knew the person was lying, because it's not possible. You're knocked cold, you're not going to have absolute recollection of much of anything, much less details. So
yeah, and I had the same thing. It was like, it's like pieces, you know. It's like don't remember. I remember going in the third round, kind of come to in the back when I'm talking to the doctor, and then I come to while I'm at the hospital when they gave me too much whatever pain pills or Dilaudid. And so I guess my heart rate dropped and I stopped breathing.
Wow.
So I remember them waking me up, and that happened a few times. And I remember throwing up in a toilet at the hotel, and then I woke up the next morning. It was the craziest thing. And I was like, so I totally understand. And I had a lot more going on than him. But I think even backstage, you know, he didn't say anything to me. He was respectful to me the whole time. But I just think we want to win so bad. Every fighter wants to win, and you're going out there. It's two people are fighting. One person's going to lose. You hope it's not you every time, but the fact is, one of you is going to lose. And I think he just wanted it so bad, and he was just pissed, and he didn't know what was going on, you know, from being knocked out. And you know, backstage, he was doing the same thing. He was all pissed, like, "Fuck, I wasn't." Or sorry, he's like, "I wasn't out." Like he just didn't. He didn't know what was going on. Like he had no idea. But I'm sure he watched the fight and then he'll kind of see what was going on. So I totally understand.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good you have that respect for your opponent. Quick question on that fight from a month ago that people probably are not talking too much about again, but I love your opponent as a high-level fighter and a really intelligent fighter. That Ben Askren and Robbie Lawler fight, was that stopped, do you think, at the right time? Or do you think Robbie, who was saying he wasn't out, or is it possibly, like most people think, he was out and then came back and didn't have any idea what happened?
Yeah, I don't know. I saw that too, but it's like, it's so hard because I wasn't right there. Like, I'm sure the only people that really know are kind of, you know, Robbie, Ben, and possibly the ref.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I saw the same clips everyone did, and it looks like it, but then it doesn't look like it. So I really have no say on it. I don't know what happened. It looked like at some point, like Robbie came out there and it looked like the ref could have stopped the fight, like how, you know, with the big slam and just pinning his arm and landing those big shots. But then Ben Askren somehow got out of it, put that bulldog choke. And then I honestly, I don't know, you know, like I saw what everyone else saw. So I'm not sure. What do you think?
Yeah, I think probably Robbie was out. I mean, the catch wrestling technique, the bulldog choke, isn't used that much in the UFC. I think Raquel Pennington did it to Ashley Evans Smith a few years back. You know, the squeeze that Ben Askren has, being able to break those watermelons that he's shown on YouTube, and definitely a strong guy, having been a 4-time All-American D1 and national champion. Probably wasn't going to get much better for Robbie Lawler, and Robbie Lawler is saying he just let his arm drop and go limp instead of trying to fight the choke. I don't know if anyone does that when you're being face cranked and choked, but all respect to Robbie Lawler, he was beating the crap out of Askren. You think Askren gets by Jorge Masvidal or the other way?
Man, he's man, I love watching that guy fight because he's a true fighter, and you know, I had him to beat Till just because I knew it'd be a stand-up fight and how good his striking is. But going back to how good of a wrestler Askren is, if Askren gets him on the ground, that's the only way he's going to win. If it stays standing, Askren's going to sleep. It's it's that simple. But will Askren be able to take Masvidal down? Probably, most likely. So I'm excited to watch that fight and kind of see how it plays out. And you know, Masvidal has to be just working nonstop on his takedown defense, like keeping that space, you know, trying to keep him at bay somehow. But Askren's going to come in and try to, you know, get him in the clinch and look for those funky trips and takedowns that he does. So we'll know real quick how it's going to play out.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited for it. Last couple questions about other fights. Jeremy Stephens, would you like to run that one back?
Yeah, everyone keeps asking me that. I'm just going to I haven't even thought about it. It's like, I just got home from Philly last night at like 2:30.
Yeah.
And then just kind of decompressing with everything, taking it all in. And I'm going to get back to training on Monday and just kind of see what Sean offers me. I want to fight people in front of me, or I want to fight bigger names.
Yep.
And so we'll see kind of how things play out.
Absolutely, that makes sense. Speaking about bigger names, although not much bigger because you're definitely up there, but what do you think of the featherweight champ going up to fight for the interim lightweight title? Do you think he'll win it? And if he does he stay at lightweight or come back down to feather?
Yeah, no, I think it's great for him. It's a good opportunity. If I was in the same boat, I would take it in a heartbeat because, a lot of people say they don't fight for the money and they fight for all this and that. Which I do. I want to fight for greatness, leave a legacy, of course, but I 100% fight for the money. That's the reason why I fight.
Yep.
So a big opportunity for him. He's going to make a lot of money. It's a win-win. He goes up there. If he beats Poirier, he becomes the interim champion. And then when Khabib comes back, they'll unify it, which he'll make that much more money. If he loses any of those fights, he still has his featherweight title.
Right.
But I do believe, I don't know. I know Poirier beat him the first time, but that was a long time ago. That was his first fight, right?
It was. He was 20 years old. Yep, his first UFC.
Yeah, and look how he's developed so much as a martial artist, and his body shape, he put on so much more mass, like muscle mass and everything.
Definitely.
I could see Holloway, pulling it off, but Poirier's been looking better than ever as well. So I don't know. If he wins that, and then if he beat Khabib somehow, if they unify it, then I could see him possibly staying at lightweight because he cuts a lot of weight. He's a big guy, so
yeah.
Because he almost looks bigger than Poirier now. You know?
Yeah, he does.
At the face-offs and stuff like that. So I'm not sure, but I could see that if he were to beat him and then beat Khabib, I could see him staying.
Yeah, and if that happens, then that kind of fast tracks the featherweight contenders. And in my opinion, if Max isn't there, we're looking at you. We're looking at Zabit Magomedsharipov. We're looking at Brian Ortega, Frankie Edgar, or Yair Rodriguez off of that Korean zombie fight. If you had to pick one of those guys ranked ahead of you, who do you think would be the most fun fight of the aforementioned opponents?
Yeah, I don't know. Really, any of them. They're all like the people in front of me. So anyone that's in front of me, I would take that fight. I don't know. Just some of the guys that have been there for a while. It'd be great to fight them. It's I honestly don't know. Honestly, anyone that's ranked in front of me, I would take. And everyone's different, so it's kind of like it's a different game plan. It's a different training camp. It's certain fights really motivate me, especially the veterans. Just because, like Jeremy Stevens, like Michael Johnson, those guys have been in the UFC for 10 years. They had over 20 UFC fights, so it's like they have nothing to prove. They've already done it. And so I feel like my mindset, I have to work extra hard. I have to go in there and prove to everyone I belong here. That's just the way I think. So it's like the veterans, like Frankie Edgar, I've always been a huge fan. And that was like, I loved watching that guy fight. So if I were to fight someone like him, it's kind of crazy because it's like someone that I watched growing up, in the sport, and then to potentially fight someone like that, it's kind of the same way I felt with like fighting Stevens and fighting Johnson. I watched their fights before I even got into mixed martial arts, so it's just kind of crazy to think about it like that. Like you see these guys fighting, like Clay Guida, he's going to fight BJ Penn. Like that's crazy to me. If I was going to fight someone like that, it's surreal in a way.
Absolutely, man. Well, it's a good thing to hear that you appreciate that, and you had people that you looked up to and that you enjoyed, and you can throw that out there, and that you're honored, and it makes you happy to get the chance to fight them, man. That's cool. That's kind of like the way that I would hope to be, were I a professional fighter and a young man in your position, man. So it's good to know that you're that kind of a guy, man. Big respect for you. Well, Josh Emmett, in the last minute we have for you, anything you want to throw out there? Anyone you want to thank or shout out your training partners? Or if Team Alpha Male's looking for anybody of a certain weight class, anything you want to shout out, I'd love to have you do it.
Yeah, if you want to just follow me, they can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh Emmett UFC. That's my handle. I have a Josh Emmett fan page. And then one of the things that we just launched, my doctor and nutritionist, Dr. Bond, and I, we've been working together for like 5 years. He monitors like my health, my performance, my nutrition, all these type of things. While I was sidelined for 13 months, we were working on a like one of a kind powerful supplement. And I was always wanting to go like have my own supplement line and do like proteins and creatines and amino acids. But, after thinking about that, that's already out there. Like that market is so saturated and I can't compete with that. So with my injury, he had me taking tons of supplements, and there's not really that much out there for kind of what I was going through with like the vertigo and the headaches and being in this like foggy state and no focus and not sleeping and things like that. So we decided to develop and formulate a supplement for me, which in return would help others. And we worked on it for like the whole year. And he's a brilliant man. That's like quadruple board certified. He's an ER doctor, an MD, like all these type of things, and all these other like medical clinics and nonprofits. And so it's like a 4-in-1 supplement. We have, it's called Mastermind, and you can find it on joshemmett.com, and you can find more information about it. But it's like the 4 main topics on it would be, it's a brain booster, so it kind of protects the integrity of the cells in the brain. It restores focus, restores memory. It's an anti-inflammatory portion, not only for the brain, but the entire body and joints. The energy portion is sustained energy throughout the whole day. You don't have these crashes. There's no stimulants in it. And then the recovery portion is great just because it helps aid in recovery from all the physical and mental stress that people put on their bodies on a daily basis. And this isn't just for athletes. There's no demographic. It's for men, women, athletes, working professionals, like the weekend warriors, literally everybody that's dealing with any type of, just taking the supplement, not being biased because I'm partnered up with him. It really is powerful. It's one of a kind. And I've been taking it like 3-4 months before I fought, and I give a lot of credit to me getting back to training, to me fighting last weekend. I was just in a bad state, and I take 3 capsules a day, and it is a lot of expensive ingredients in there, and everyone that's seen it is amazed that all that stuff is in there and the dosage in there, because our whole thing was, instead of making a cheap supplement that only one person buys once and you get a big return from, we put a lot of expensive ingredients in there and packed it to the max where you can't put any more ingredients in it for supplements, just so people could truly benefit from it. And the residuals from them, just feeling great and enjoying the product and noticing a difference, they're going to continue to buy it from there. So we're not going to, that's kind of our game plan. It really is amazing. So if people want to check that out, joshemmett.com.
Absolutely.
It's called Mastermind.
Absolutely. So the Mastermind product at joshemmett.com. You guys, Josh Emmett is a man with integrity, one of my favorite fighters, the thinking man's fighter, a man with class, and a true winner. So I highly recommend it. Check out Josh Emmett. Support this man. Mastermind product sounds awesome. I'll check it out. Josh, thank you so much, brother, for joining us here on the MMA Power Hour, and we'll stay in close touch.
All right. Thanks, and you guys. You guys have a good one.
Thanks. You too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That was Josh Emmett. Dr. Adam Rhoda, we have only a minute left, I think. Anything left you want to roar about? Josh Emmett, a great guy, amazing fighter.
Roar.
Will be champion one day while the Roar Master is roaring.
He probably will be. I mean, he's a knockout artist. And
he's a great wrestler. He's just a smart guy. He's a chess
Yeah, he's well-rounded. He's a chess player, and he's a knockout artist. And all these knockout artists that are chess players on top of everything else. They always have not just a chance, but they're usually walking.
They win most of their fights.
They're walking their way to the top, and you look at his record; it speaks for itself.
Absolutely.
He's 14-2 now. I mean, it's amazing what he's doing in the UFC.
He's a great fighter, a great guy, really cool dude, really real person, regular guy who just happens to be an elite athlete.
We spoke with him 7 months ago.
It was 6-7 months ago,
and he's jumped up in the rankings now just because of this last fight. And,
very
he's going to
impressive.
continue moving on up.
The first man to stiffen Michael Johnson's legs, really, he was, and Johnson beat some amazing guys. So absolutely,
it was interesting watching those legs get stiffened. I haven't seen knockout like that in a little while
for
in the
a while,
UFC.
yeah.
I've seen it in a few of the other promotions, but in the UFC, I haven't really seen one like that for a few months at least.
He just landed the sweet spot and kind of cut off all the wiring in Johnson's head. All respect to Michael Johnson, but anyway, wonderful guy, really good person, Josh Emmett. I like him a lot, and I think he's on the winning track, going toward that featherweight title perhaps in the next year. Anyway, Dr. Adam Rorta, any last thoughts here, or shall I wrap it up for another great show?
Well, I just want to go ahead and give a huge thank you to absolutely everybody that is involved with our show. We have so many people coming on board now at MMA Power Hour. We have, 13 people on our team. We have a lot of people behind the scenes that nobody ever hears anything about. I want to make sure everybody knows that we have these people there. And they're just doing such a great job for us with everything that they do, and they deserve a huge round of applause. And if anybody ever does reach out to you and says, we're with MMA Power Hour, if they really are and they have an MMA Power Hour email address, make sure to listen to them and give them a little bit of an acknowledgement at least, because they've put in a lot of work for us and they continue to do so every day. I just want to say thank you to those people. And also, Colin, thank you so much for another great episode. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Give us a like, comment, and share if you haven't already, and we will catch you next week. I am out for now, and I'm tossing it over to you.
Thanks so much, Dr. Adam Rorta. Always appreciate your great contribution. It is enormous and always absolutely on point and effective and efficient and creative. Thanks, brother. Thank you guys so much. We have coming up next week Alan Jouban, 3 days before his big UFC fight at that huge card that has Israel Adesanya against Kelvin Gastelum and Max Holloway against Dustin Poirier, if I can remember names. So we're going to have Alan back on the show. A couple of the great guests I will announce on social media in the next few days. So be kind to yourself, be gentle to yourself, cut some slack to yourself, show yourself some love, show some love to your parents, your kids, your pets, your friends. Let your office co-workers know that you have their back. Call someone you haven't called for a while. Make the time to let them know you may not have been able to be there that much, but you are there if they need you. Spread the love in a positive way. Be that guy, be that girl. It'll come back to you tenfold. So that's what we'll do, and thank you so much. Really means a lot that you guys support us. Hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll be back next week for more. For Dr. Adam Rorta and the MMA Power Hour, this is Colin Crandall, and I'm tapping out.